In this video, we're going to cover scalar product. This may also be known as the dot product. So a scalar product is the product of two vectors as a scalar or as a value, not as a vector. So the scalar product multiplies two vectors and it applies the directional growth of one vector to another. And this is easy when the vectors have the same direction. The result of a dot product is a scalar, hence why it is also called a scalar product. We define the scalar product as the sum of the products of the x and y components. So if we have two vectors, vector u and vector v, the scalar product will be the product of x1 and x2 plus the product of y1 and y2. We can also have a scalar product of a vector with itself, so vector v and vector v, essentially, which is the magnitude of vector v squared. We also have the scalar product in terms of the angle between the vectors. And this is given by the magnitude of vector u multiplied by the magnitude of vector v multiplied by cos theta. On the bottom of your screen, you can see each of these combined into one equation. We will now answer some questions. So we need to find the scalar product to one decimal place. I think it's a good idea to first label what your x's and y's are. So we have x1, y1, x2, y2. And then all we need to do is substitute these into the formula. So 4 times -2 plus -1 times 7, which equals -15. So that is the scalar product for those two vectors. We remember you can also show a vector in part of its components as here, where I is your x, j is your y. So we have our x1, y1, x2, y2, and then we substitute in -3 multiplied by 2 plus 4 multiplied by 3, which equals 6. The next question requires us to find the angle between the vectors, which requires the 3 formula on your screen. The first thing we need to do is find our scalar product. Which is -5. We then need to find our magnitude for u and our magnitude for v. √5, we'll find the magnitude for v. √10. So now we need to use our middle formula, which is this one here, to find our angle. So we know our scalar product was -5. We know the absolute value, sorry, not the absolute value, the magnitude of u is that. We know our v was √10 and then cos theta. So at this point we can do our normal rearranging. Inverse cos to get theta. Which is 135 degrees. To end the video, we'll do a quick recap. Remember, the scalar product is a multiplies the two vectors together, and it applies the directional growth of one vector to another. On your screen, you can also see the various types of formula you might have to use. It is also important to note that you do also need to remember how to find the magnitude of a vector.